everybody to Crick Tracker's special show in the air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. Of course, I am bleeding blue, which means that I am, of course, expecting Team India to win this one as well. Lekin ye hoga ya nahi in the 4th T20I, only time is going to tell. But as usual, I have my excited cricket guest joining me in the studio, Pratyay Tiwari as well as Chirag Manocha, and both of them are all smiles, which means that they're, of course, expecting Ki Team India will clinch this one as well. But we know there is one fan over here who is an emotional one and the other one's a very practical one. So we're going to go to the emotional one first. Chirag, let me start off with you. You know, the result that, Team India fan would have wanted, what they got in the previous one, but this match will be played in Rajkot. So आपको क्या लगता है इस मैच के बारे में? Do you think there will be changes or would there be the same combination? What's your
राइट देखो, मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि इंडिया जीते और सीरीज को लेवल करे, तभी जाके जो फाइनल होगा बहुत एक्साइटिंग होगा, पैसा वसूल सीरीज हमें देखने को मिलेगी। पर एक जो क्वेश्चन जो दिमाग में आ रहा है और वो देखना काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा, क्या प्लेइंग लेवल में चेंज होगा, क्योंकि अभी हम ये सीरीज को कंसिडर कर रहे हैं कि ये एक तैयारी है T20 वर्ल्ड कप को लेकर। तो अभी जो बेंच पर प्लेयर्स बैठे हैं, उमरान मलिक, अर्शदीप सिंह, तो क्या उन्हें एक चांस मिलेगा इस मैच में या फिर वो सेम कॉम्बिनेशन होगा? अभी सीरीज साउथ अफ्रीका के पास है, 2-1 से साउथ अफ्रीका आ गया, तो क्या चेंजेस देखने को मिलेंगे या नहीं? ये काफी दिमाग में बार-बार क्वेश्चन घूम रहा है और ये देखना काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा।
All right. Now he has given his prediction about what is going to happen in terms of changes. Before I come to you, Pratyay, a very interesting point. So let's start off with that as well before we get into everything else on the show. Rao Asif saying that he feels that either Arshdeep or Umran should get 2 matches in place of Afish, and he also says that the World Cup probable should be match ready and not only when injury happens. Very interesting point क्योंकि हमने देखा है सीरीज के just तुरंत पहले what happened with KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant taking over captaincy. So we don't want that to happen during a big campaign like the World Cup. तो आपका क्या कहना है इसके बारे में? Keeping aside that debate whether Umran's going to get a chance or not get a chance, when are we going to see it? Keeping that injury aspect in mind to keep someone ready for an international stage, क्या आपको लगता है आज वो मौका होगा?
देखिए, होना बिल्कुल चाहिए, होगा या नहीं बहुत जल्दी पता चल जाएगा, लेकिन मेरे हिसाब से होना इसलिए चाहिए। आई कंप्लीटली एग्री विद राउस पॉइंट, क्योंकि आप एज वी हैव बीन कॉन्स्टेंटली सेइंग कि ये ही आपके पास चांसेस हैं वर्ल्ड कप के पहले, जब आप जान पाएंगे कि कौन से खिलाड़ी आपके कितने तैयार हैं, उनको कहाँ पे वो मिसिंग लिंक्स हैं, क्या उनको करने की जरूरत है। और ये मैचेस आप कितना भी आप नेट्स में आप जाके शायद 1000 बॉल्स खेल लें या 1000 बॉल्स डाल लें, एक इंटरनेशनल मैच में जब आप खेलते हैं, उस प्रेशर एनवायरनमेंट में आप जब होते हैं, जब आप अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे होते हैं, उस टाइम पे जो सिचुएशंस आपके पास में आती हैं, तब आपको जिस तरीके का परफॉर्म करना होता है और नेट्स में आप करते हैं या आप प्रैक्टिस सेशंस पे करते हैं, उसमें बहुत बड़ा अंतर हो जाता है। सो आई थिंक देखिए, सीरीज के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर आप देखें, क्योंकि देखिए आप कोई सी भी सीरीज खेलें आप हारना नहीं चाहेंगे, 2-1 से आप पीछे हैं, you are in a do or die kind of a situation and territory that you have to win every single game, क्योंकि एक भी आप हारेंगे और आप सीरीज आप गंवा देंगे। तो कन्वेंशनल विजडम वुड सजेस्ट कि आप विनिंग कॉम्बिनेशन को ना चेंज करें, क्योंकि आमतौर पे जब आप टीम के साथ जीत जाते हैं तो आपको ये लगता है कि पिछले मैच में इन्हीं 11 खिलाड़ियों ने सारी चीजें सही करी थी, तो क्यों हम फेरबदल करें या एक ऐसी चीज हम क्यों बदलें जिसमें शायद बदलाव की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। लेकिन उसके साथ साथ आपको ये भी ध्यान रखना है कि आपके जो बाकी खिलाड़ी हैं उन्हें आप कितना मौका दे पा रहे हैं, उन्हें आप कितना टेस्ट कर पा रहे हैं। 2 मैचेस बचे हैं, दोनों इंटरनेशनल मैचेस हैं, और साउथ अफ्रीका ने जिस तरीके का क्रिकेट अभी तक खेला है, मुझे लगता है अगर मौका मिलेगा 2 जो बेंच पे खिलाड़ी हैं तो निश्चित उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा होगा, उनको अनुभव भी मिलेगा और वर्ल्ड कप की तैयारियों के दृष्टिकोण से भी बहुत अच्छी हद तक मुझे लगता है कि उस पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर आप क्लियरली देखते हैं तो बिल्कुल चेंज होना चाहिए। बट आई वोंट बी सरप्राइज्ड अगर इंडिया ना करे इस मैच में चेंज। आई वाज एक्चुअली सरप्राइज्ड जब इंडिया ने लास्ट मैच में नहीं किया था चेंज, क्योंकि तब ज्यादा उम्मीद थी शायद, बट उस गेम में ना चेंजेस करके आई थिंक मैनेजमेंट ने कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा सा कम्युनिकेट किया कि सीरीज वो अभी भी जीतना चाहते हैं, वो तीनों मैचेस जीत करके अभी भी वो सीरीज को छोड़ना नहीं चाहते। तो हो सकता है कि शायद आज हमें अनचेंज्ड 11 फिर से देखने को मिल जाए इंडिया से।
All right, so that is what the predictions that we have here in our studios. आप सबका क्या कहना है? Let me know. Kamal has asked कि toss का क्या हुआ? We'll come to that in a minute or two. We will definitely keep you updated the minute I have all the information. दूसरी तरफ Rao Asif also talking about the fact that it's going to be a cracking game for fans today because there's more a do or die, like a must-win kind of situation. जो सारे toss के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, मैं आ रही हूँ toss के बारे में. I'm going to give you the update that South Africa have won the toss and opted to bowl. ये कुछ control V जैसा, मतलब वो कॉपी पेस्ट वाला टेम्पलेट लग रहा है अभी, पर
शोले वाला सिक्का बिल्कुल हेड और टेल, शोले वाला सिक्का नहीं था जो हेड और टेल, मतलब आगे बूमा का वैसा सेम हर मैच में जीत रहे हैं टॉस।
Exactly. So, coming back to that, what do you all think about the aspect that they've again gone into, bowl first? Do you think India will be able to, do the needful, considering that they've lost the toss? So that does that put more pressure? Does that not put pressure? Are they coming more confident from a win of the previous game? What is your take? Tell me all of that in the comments. And जो भी अभी मुझे पूछ रहे कि टॉस के बारे में क्या हुआ, दोबारा बोलूंगी for all our Crick Tracker viewers कि South Africa have won the toss and chosen to bowl first. On the other hand, let's take a quick look at the head-to-head between both these teams, which is inching closer, which gets far more interesting. यहाँ पे, I think every time we're watching the head-to-head, it's just, it's going back and forth. So in the 18 games that they played, India have won on 10 occasions, and South Africa have won on 8. दूसरी तरफ ये competition होने जा रहा है राजकोट में. So let's take a quick look at India's results in Rajkot. If we could have that on our screens, and then we'll of course get talking about different aspects of the game. If we have that as well on our screens, I believe that's going to take a minute or two for us to get that. If you don't have that, that's okay. Let's move on talking about different aspects. Jo hai wo approaching milestones. So let's take a quick look at what that is. And we know Chirag would be more than happy to be answering that. यहाँ पे अगर देखा जाए, Chirag, run us through that, please.
Yeah, Rishabh Pant needs 1/6 to complete 100 sixes across formats. तो ये doable है, हो जाएगा. और ऋषभ पंत आज मुझे लगता है ये कुछ अब करके दिखाएंगे. और टेम्बा बूमर रिक्वायर्स जस्ट 1/4, ये भी हो जाएगा. सेकंड वाला भी आराम से. और थर्ड अक्षर पटेल अगर आज खेले तो ये भी हो जाएगा. हो जाएगा क्योंकि ग्राउंड बड़ा है. और ये जो पिच है स्पिनर्स को हेल्प करने वाली है. बैटर्स के लिए इतना इजी नहीं होगा कि आप ऐसा बहुत इजीली बॉल को बाउंड्री के बाहर पहुंचा सके. तो स्पिनर्स को आई थिंक इस पिच पर हेल्प मिलेगी. तो स्पिनर्स के लिए अक्षर पटेल वो अचीव कर सकते हैं माइलस्टोन.
Okay, so Chirag had a couple of predictions in terms of Rishabh Pant's milestones last time जो नहीं हुआ. He was like कुछ ही तो है, हाँ देंगे क्या होगा, बट इस बार क्या होगा.
टाइम कई बार खराब हो जाता है, पर हो चुके हैं 3 मैचेस हो चुके हैं और लोग उन्हें काफी क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं. और जब भी ऐसा होता है ना, ऋषभ पंत को बहुत क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं, वो कुछ ना कुछ अलग करते ही है. अभी टेस्ट मैचेस में भी ऐसा हुआ था ना कि नहीं टेस्ट क्रिकेट के प्लेयर है ही नहीं, पर वो एक इनिंग्स आई और सब बदल गया कि हाँ नहीं ऋषभ पंत अच्छा खेलते हैं, टेस्ट क्रिकेट के प्लेयर है. तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. और आज के मैच में मुझे लगता है कि आज वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करने वाले हैं.
ठीक है, वक्त की बात है, राइट. और दूसरी तरफ लॉट ऑफ फैंस आर डिवाइडेड कि कौन जीतेगा. लॉट ऑफ देम आर सेइंग इंडिया विल नॉट विन. लॉट ऑफ देम आर सेइंग दैट साउथ अफ्रीका इज गोइंग टू बी द क्लियर सीरीज विनर. तो ठीक है, फिर एक्साइटेड कि यहाँ पर भी कंपटीशन हो रहा है of a different kind in the comment section कि कौन जीतेगा. But coming back to the particular match, let's talk about the playing 11 in terms of the combination for both the teams. यहाँ पे of course India has no changes, which despite all the permutations and combinations and analysis has not happened. But दूसरी तरफ South Africa will be hurting a little bit because one player battle which we would have probably looked forward to is between Dinesh Karthik and Rabada. लेकिन वो नहीं होगा because coming to you, Rabada and Parnell are both injured. So Marco Jansen and Lungi Ngidi come in. Quinton is fit to play, and we are glad to have him as the statement that is coming in. So talking about that, right, let's talk about the fact that they're not having the services of Rabada and Parnell, and how is that going to affect them. But on the other hand, having Quinton back in action for them.
Yes, kind of a bittersweet moment. Yes, because they would be happy that they are welcoming back Quinton de Kock because he was actually one of the key players at the start of the series. Missed out quite a bit of action in the middle. But yes, if it's an injury, then you can really not do anything. I don't think that they would have had any need to sit out Rabada had it not been for the injury. But I think India going unchanged, as I said, that pretty much on the cards because the series is on the line. So probably again backing the same combinations. I don't know how correct that call is given the fact that we've already been discussing about giving the players a chance. But India going unchanged in this one does not surprise me. For South Africa, I think, yes, Lungi and Ngidi, Marco Jansen, see, both of them are tall pacers and they have the knack of hitting the deck hard because Marco Jansen, we have seen in the South Africa series when India went to South Africa and in the IPL as well. He is really tall and he has the potential to bring out some sort of a bounce, or he has the ability to make the ball do something even on the flattest of tracks, which by the way Rajkot is, because this is going to be one of the absolute belters that we call it. इसको पाटा पिच बोलते हैं हम, जहाँ पे runs ही runs बनते हैं, because Rajkot has had that kind of a history. So you are expecting runs. It's definitely going to be one of the higher scoring encounters that you expect. So I think Lungi and Ngidi and Marco Jansen from that perspective are both good additions. But I surely feel that they will definitely miss Quinton beg your pardon, they will definitely miss Kagiso Rabada on this kind of a track.
Right. I think Dinesh Karthik would also be missing, Rabada to see he could have tried, not having another different player battle in his name. But Dusri Taraf, since you mentioned Rajkot, and previously I wanted to talk about the stadium stats here with India's performance. If you could take a look at that. So over here, the Saurashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Rajkot, India have won on 2 occasions and they have lost on one. So Chirag, if he has predicted a high scoring game, चलिए हमें बताइए according to your predictions कितना high scoring हो सकता है नंबर लगा दो
भी मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया का स्कोर जाएगा 190 टू 198 के बीच में हाँ
काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है 190 to 198 I want to know why you stopped at 198 in particular
200 के मार्क पे नहीं जाना था इतना ही होगा 190 टू 198 के बीच में अब जहाँ पे माइंड ने रोक दिया तो वहीं पे रुकना था
That is true. Okay, we'll see. I mean, that's a very interesting prediction to look at it. We've also seen high-scoring games in the other stadiums when they did play, but will that happen? We'll have to wait and watch. But coming back to the competition, of India versus South Africa, although we did not, we're not getting an opportunity again to see Umran in action. Yahan pe, Andrew Nokia has spoken about Umran and probably the comparisons and all the chatter that's been going on. Let's take a quick look at that on Social Tracker. Now, he has said Umran Malik is a very good bowler. He has shown what he can do. If he gets faster, great for him. If I get faster, great for me. We're not at the stage where we're competing to bowl the fastest ball. Now, that's a very interesting statement to make. Now, first of all, of course, Umran's still just very new. I mean, he's still waiting for that international experience. Whereas, of course, Andrik Nokia might have, different milestones or probably a mindset in his career at the moment. But why is that we're drawing comparisons from this? What's your takeaway from this, Pratik? Good, bad, or do you have a different perspective as a cricket fan? How do you view that?
Well, I think see both of them are gun pacers. We know that there's no doubt about it. Enrique Noke has been setting up the speed guns on fire right since the start of his career. Umran Malik, very young, again a very jostling kind of a pacer. We have seen him now for a couple of IPLs. In the first one as well, there was very little time that we got the chance to see him, only a couple of games. But this IPL, we saw plenty of him constantly delivering. I mean, all 14 games that he played for SRH ended up winning the fastest delivery of the match. I mean, that was kind of a formality award by the end of it because we know that, he is going to be the one who is going to take it. 22 wickets in a season, that was an impressive tally, of course. So he has shown that he is a wicket-taking bowler because many a times what happens is that when you have got the pace, you also have certain disadvantages which automatically come along because probably edges will fly for sixes or maybe a little bit of a timing on one shot will go and run away to the boundary. So I think that yes, pace is something which he has got. And see, you cannot teach someone how to bowl fast. So that is one thing you can teach a player, you can teach a bowler how to control his lines, how to control his wrist position, how to control his lengths, but you cannot bring pace. So I think that the most exciting part about Umran Malik and his bowling is that he has the biggest element of pace. Now it is on, the hands that he is under, the likes of Rahul Dravid, the likes of team management that India has, the bowling coaches and all of them.
Yeah.
It's upon them. It's the onus is upon them to make him into a finished product because we know that right now he is very, very young. I mean, age is on his side. If he can keep himself fit and if he can constantly keep himself to deliver, everyone's mouth would be watered to imagine him bowling in Australia and in red ball cricket as well, because all of us would want to see him. I mean, he would be a great addition to the Indian Test team. For speaking of Nokia and his comparison, I think yes, both of them are great fast bowlers. So it will definitely be interesting to see who actually ends up ends up bowling the fastest delivery. But I think that apart from pace, you will also have to take care of that you do not end up missing on your or compromising on your lines and lengths. But I have to still wait at least now, maybe for the Ireland series to see Umran, because I don't see Umran getting a game. Maybe the next one, but I really don't see him getting a game in this series now.
Right, and I think even Sunil Gavaskar did talk about the aspect that the last time he was excited to see a cricketer play was Sachin Tendulkar, and now Umran is that young prospect that he looks forward to. Dusri taraf, we also had Wasim Jaffer and Nikhil Chopra on Crick Tracker show during the Indian T20 League talking about how sometimes pace is not enough. You also need variations as well, right? Otherwise, it becomes very predictable. And that's probably a takeaway for a lot of you talking about Umran Malik. I guess like all of us will have to wait and watch. But before we wrap up, I like that you all have given me interesting predictions. So someone has said, Adi Singh has said 208, Prashant has said 175. I also have Rao saying 190, and then he says 191. So it looks like someone is supporting Chirag on this particular prediction. And so this is, of course, in terms of all the predictions that we have. Okay, so our audience is pretty much divided कि कौन जीतेगा. Half of them are saying South Africa, दूसरी तरफ half of them are saying India. But before we wrap up, let me have a quick word with our cricket guests कि उनको क्या लगता है. Is it India all the way for the both of you, or is someone thinking that South Africa can choose this?
Yeah, India.
Short and sweet.
India.
And Pratyay?
I think India has to bat really well because as I said राजकोट है यहाँ पे मतलब history suggests कि आपके runs बनेंगे तो I think that you never know. I mean probably 200 would not be even sufficient. Try to score as many runs as possible. अगर आप 215 220 भी करते हैं तो वो 15-20 रन क्योंकि हमने इसी सीरीज में एक बार देखा है साउथ अफ्रीका ने चेस किया है टारगेट को और बॉल्स रहते हुए चेस किया है 200 प्लस के टारगेट को. So I think कि बहुत ज्यादा important है. One thing that I liked in the previous game a lot was the intent shown by the openers. Right now, they will have to make sure that they make the best use of the power play. Also, I think one area where India has actually been slightly lagging behind in this series are the middle overs. क्योंकि power play की शुरुआत अच्छी हुई है because ईशान किशन बहुत अच्छे फॉर्म में रहे और इस पूरी सीरीज में उनके रन्स बनते आए हैं. बट जो मिडिल ओवर्स आते हैं जहाँ पे 7 से 15 ओवर 7 से 16 ओवर्स के जो बीच में होता है वहां पे कई बार मोमेंटम जो है पूरा सकआउट कर लेती है साउथ अफ्रीका. सो आई थिंक वो एक बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होगी कि वहां पे इंडिया मैच पे अपनी पकड़ ना जाने दे क्योंकि इस मैच में इस वेन्यू पे इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप बॉल 1 से लेकर के बॉल 120 तक उस गियर में रहें जिसकी हम श्रेयस अय्यर से इस बार बात सुनते आए कि हम अटैक करते रहेंगे. दिस इज द बेस्ट वेन्यू टू डू दैट क्योंकि यहाँ पे वो उस तरीके की जो अप्रोच है वो डेफिनेटली विल पे ऑफ बिकॉज दिस इज दैट काइंड ऑफ अ विकेट. सो आई थिंक दैट इफ इंडिया मैनेजेस टू पोस्ट अ बिग टारगेट लाइक गिविंग सम 10-11 runs per over to the South Africans to chase, then they have got a chance to defend. If you're settling between 170, 160, 170 on this track, it is not going to be easy to defend. But I still want India to win, not because I'm an Indian supporter, but because I want the series to have a blockbuster of a finale, and so that the last game does not become inconsequential. So yes, I'm rooting for India.
Right, and I think having said that, here we also have comments saying India should win the 4 T20I, but the first inning score will fall 175 and below. दूसरी तरफ जहांगीर saying that South Africa will win the series. Amresh has said he loves all of us from Nepal. All the love from the entire team of Crick Tracker. Back to you, Amresh. मुझे बताइए comment section में आपके हिसाब से कौन जीतेगा ये मैच. And also before we wrap up, if we could take a look at the playing 11 of both the sides, especially for South Africa, so that we can see what the combination is. If you could have that on our screens, I'll ask my producer to put that. But before we come to that as well, a quick word on who could prove dangerous. Chirag, आपके हिसाब से let's talk from the Indian lineup, and then I'll come to Pratyay on that. यहाँ पे playing 11 देखा जाए तो who are you supporting? Do you think it's going to be Ishan Kishan once again, or what's your take?
आई थिंक आज जो श्रेयस अय्यर कहीं ना कहीं दिख रहा है क्योंकि सीरीज में अच्छे फॉर्म में दिखे पर वो कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सके अच्छे स्टार्ट को बड़ी इनिंग्स में. पर आई थिंक जैसे प्रत्यय ने कहा कि श्रेयस अय्यर के पास मौका है जिस तरह से वो कहते आ रहे हैं कि हमारा जो अप्रोच है वो अटैकिंग रहने वाला है. तो मुझे लगता है कि श्रेयस अय्यर, ऋषभ पंत और दिनेश कार्तिक आज के मैच में साउथ अफ्रीका के लिए कहीं ना कहीं बड़ी प्रॉब्लम्स खड़ी करने वाले हैं.
All right, and some predictions coming in कि man of the match ईशान रहेंगे and India will win the match. Okay, interesting to see all the comments. And before we wrap up, Pratyay, if you did see the combination of South Africa there on the screen, do you think with Quinton coming back, it's going to be proving a terror, or are we going to see Killer Miller, Henrik Klaasen? Who are you placing your bets on?
देखिए निवेदा, सबसे अच्छी बात जो है ना इस टीम की वो इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे है कि अगर आप पूरे ऑर्डर को देखें, इनके जो पूरा टॉप और मिडिल ऑर्डर है, सबने इस सीरीज में भी रन्स बनाए और सभी लोग फॉर्म में है. वेदर यू टॉक अबाउट डीकॉक और वैंडरडसन और मिलर और क्लासन और प्रेटोरियस, सभी लोगों ने रन्स किए हैं. सो आई थिंक दैट जिस तरीके का फॉर्म खास तौर पे लेकिन डेविड मिलर का हमें देखने को मिला है, बिकॉज द बेस्ट पार्ट अबाउट मिलर इज दैट द वे ही हैज बीन टैकलिंग बोथ स्पिनर्स एंड पेसर्स. क्योंकि इनके पास कुछ खिलाड़ी ऐसे हैं जो शायद बल्ले पे थोड़ी सी पेस ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं लेकिन स्पिन के अगेंस्ट उतना अच्छा नहीं खेल पाते हैं. कुछ ऐसे हैं जो शायद स्पिनर्स के अगेंस्ट पेसर्स को ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं, कुछ स्पिनर्स के बजाय स्पिनर्स को ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं. सो आई थिंक डेविड मिलर इज वन ऑफ दोस बैटर्स जो कि दोनों वैरायटी के अगेंस्ट इस समय पे बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं. सो मे बी ही कुड बी द ट्रम्प कार्ड. And in bowling, I would be really interested to see what kind of skill set that Marco Jansen has. So I would be interested to see what can he do on this kind of a flat track, because we know that on pacey tracks he can really do a lot, but on this
Yeah.
kind of a flat track that Rajkot has in offer, it would be great to see what kind of terror
Hmm.
can he produce with his height and with his skill set. So that those two players would be the ones for me to watch out for.
All right, before I wrap up, it's I'm very glad to see a lot of you coming up with your comments. I don't feel like wrapping up the shows, but before we get into going into the game, I definitely want to take this one question from Prashant, where he has said, "Not sure why Avesh is playing when we have Arshdeep." One aspect of it is that they've gone with the playing, a combination of whatever
Right.
it's been unchanged. But he also has added that Avesh has none, because he has said T20 is all about variation. So continuing to that, he said Avesh has none and goes for high economy. Would Pratik want to take this one?
देखिए आवेश खान, अगर हम बात करें आईपीएल, जो उनका पिछले 1-2 साल में परफॉर्मेंस रहा है, वो एक बहुत बड़ा रीजन है कि उनको हमने फास्ट ट्रैक किया है और हम उनको देख पा रहे हैं इंडियन टीम में। अर्शदीप सिंह, आई मीन नो डाउट, अगर आप वेरिएशंस की बात करते हैं तो शायद उनके जितने वेरिएशंस इस समय पे बहुत कम बॉलर्स होंगे। एक हर्षल पटेल है जिनके पास में बहुत सारे वेरिएशंस हैं। अर्शदीप, द बेस्ट पार्ट दैट आई लाइक अबाउट हिम इज अगेन ही इज अ थिंकिंग फास्ट bowler, because you will see him doing different kind of things. He has got a slower one, he has got a yorker, he knows how to bang it in as well on occasions. Then he will keep on using the pitch, and he will try to maybe alter his trajectory a little bit, कहाँ से वो बॉल को रिलीज करते हैं। सो आई थिंक बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं जो अर्शदीप के पास में है। सो ऑन द काउंट ऑफ वेरिएशंस, प्रोबेबली यस, अर्शदीप विल डेफिनेटली बी द बेटर चॉइस इन आवेश खान। बट आई थिंक आवेश खान भी इस सीरीज में अभी तक उतना ज्यादा शायद विकेट्स कॉलम में वो अभी तक उतना तहलका नहीं मचा पाए। बट आई थिंक ही इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द मोर प्रॉमिसिंग पेसर्स दैट वी हैव इन द रैंक्स, बिकॉज सबसे अच्छी चीज यह है कि जो उनकी एबिलिटी है डेथ में डिलीवर करने की, इन दोनों की ही बात करें, बिकॉज अर्शदीप, नो वन बोल्ड better than Arshdeep Singh in the death overs in IPL 2022, and numbers don't lie. I mean, there was only Jasprit Bumrah's economy which was better than Arshdeep's in that particular phase, then 16 to 20. That was the reason that Arshdeep Singh was Punjab Kings' death bowler. I mean, go-to death bowler, and he was not that for no reason. So yes, I will definitely say that we all want to see him, because he has had a promising under-19 World Cup since those very days. He has been very impressive now in the IPL, and now he has suddenly found himself into the national reckoning. But as I said, that this series is not the end of it. There are a couple of T20Is that we are going to see. There's also
Yeah.
Rahul Tripathi back in that squad. There's Sanju Samson back in that squad. You already have Umran Malik and Arshdeep Singh. So I'm pretty sure that if not in this series, we are definitely going to see Arshdeep and Umran in action, and perhaps even a Rahul Tripathi in action by 28th of 28th of June.
Right, and of course, we'll be back to discuss everything to do with that series as well. But before we wrap up, Rav saying lucky Avesh Khan, even though wicketless and not economical in last 3 matches, still getting chances. Well, that's one way to look at it. But before I wrap, another comment saying that they feel like it's going to be 200 about. So whether Chirag's going to be right between his 190 to 198, or is it going to be everyone who's predicted about 200? वो देखना बाकी है. But on that very note, want to thank all of you for your amazing interaction with your questions, your analysis. I think we all had a lot of fun interacting with all of you today, and do continue doing that because हम post match analysis में भी वापस आएंगे only on Trick Tracker. So until then, of course, from me, Pratyay and Chirag, goodbye.